Welcome to another awesome edition of Irish Football Weekly here on The Grueling Truth. My name is Josh Benjamin, one of the hosts of this awesome show. My other co-host is Tony Hunter, a former tight end of the Irish from 79 to 82, also a first-round draft pick by the Buffalo Bills, 12th overall in the 83 draft. You can find us on our website, thegruelingtruth.net, also on Stitcher, Spreaker, iTunes, Google Music, iHeartRadio. If you have an iPhone, you can find us on there with an app, Grueling Truth Sports Network, and also Spotify now. So you can find us all over the place to listen to our show anytime you like. So before we get started, Tony, I want to throw a shout-out to all of our fans and listeners, our newbies that have really jumped our show a little bit the last week or two and really have done a nice job of giving us some props and just got some great ratings. So I just want to throw a shout-out to all the fans and listeners of our show. But, Tony, I want to digress from that unless you want to say something. How you doing today?
Oh, doing great. And you know what, Josh? It really is fantastic that I enjoy doing the show. We have a great time, and it's really nice to know that we have fans that are joining in and enjoying the show with us. I love talking about football, but I love even more talking about Notre Dame football. So good to know that there's other people joining in, listening, and enjoying it with us.
Absolutely. And so, Tony, let's jump right in here. We were off last week, just like the Irish were in the bye week. They kind of took maybe an extra week by playing Pitt, and then kind of let's rehash that game a little bit as I talk about that. It was a 19-14 game, and it was a little bit scary there at the end. It was basically Pitt was up by 2, and it just was a really close game. They pulled it out, but this is probably going to be the trend as far as close games go for the rest of the year. What do you think? Well, hopefully not, anyway.
Well, you know what? I was kind of disappointed for the most part at that Pitt game, but we found a way to win, and that's important when you have a championship team that can get out there and not play its best football, but still find a way to win. I thought that's what we did. I think we can play much better football. I am looking forward to, going back to that, the Virginia Tech game. I was really enthused about the way that Dexter Williams, Miles Boykins, and Ian Book were starting to really come together. Those guys, Dexter Williams had his best game in that game, 3 TDs, 100 and some odd yards rushing with a 98-yard TD. Miles Boykin ended up having 8 catches for 2 TDs and over 100 yards. And then we backslid a little bit that following week. So I think the bye week has come at a good time. I think the guys are looking forward to getting out to warm San Diego and playing against a Navy team that, quite frankly, we to rack up some points against, because defensively they've had some problems, and I think it's a good time. It'll be a great time. Well, we have Jafar Armstrong returning this week. Running back Jafar Armstrong, he had the knee infection, and he's returning this week. So he and Dexter Williams is going to this will be their first time being on the field together in a game situation. So that's going to be a powerful 1-2 punch. It really should be, and I think they'll use Armstrong throwing the ball out of the backfield. I think we're going to be in really good shape after this game.
Yeah, I think that what you spoke upon about going back to that Virginia Tech game, get that run game established again. I mean, not to Notre Dame's fail, but probably more to Pitt's execution on defense with holding them to 2.1 yards per carry, which is outstanding comparatively speaking to what they've been accustomed to this year as far as the Irish running game goes. So, credit to Pittsburgh, but like you said, getting back to what they have best, which is that running game, and really thinking about what plays they can run to be successful against this Navy team, who's not going to be a slouch, by the way. coming up here on Saturday. It's a night game, and the good thing is that Notre Dame moved up a couple spots to get to number 3, and so in the bye week, which college football is crazy as it is.
We can write our own ticket, Josh. Where we sit right now in the AP polls and in the coaches poll, we're sitting at number 3, and I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that if we control our own destiny. If we win out, we should be in the college football playoff and playing for a national championship, no matter what anybody else does. We are in control of our own destiny. We just need to take care of business week in and week out. And you know, I haven't forgotten about that USC game coming up later on. That's going to be a tough game. USC, you know, that's a big feather in their cap if they can beat Notre Dame, and especially if they can knock us out of the playoffs. So we're definitely going to have to stay focused, keep playing good Notre Dame football, and we should be fine.
Yeah, I think so. I think that week probably helped them kind of step back and relax and understand the situation and to really hone in on what needs to be done as a team. And I think Brian Kelly and that staff do a good job anyway, each week of preparation. But I think sometimes, you know, you're counting on college kids. I say kids because they're from 18 to 22, 23 years old that you have to count on.
They were in finals week last week, though. Huh?
Yeah, and I think that you, as a staff, they count on those young people to be mentally focused every day, first of all, for practice, and then the game, of course, and which matters more than practice per se. And so it's tough to do for adults and kids. So I think that week off was actually a great timing piece for them to kind of step back. All right, we've done half our season pretty much, 7 games.
Right.
They have 5 left. And now we literally, I know it's the cliche, which I can't stand cliches, but they are true, by the way, 1 game at a time, 1 snap at a time to be able to hone in on controlling their own destiny. Now, Tony, later on, I want to talk about, I have one question for you about that controlling your own destiny. I want to talk about it later, though.
Okay.
Just remind me, I'm getting up there in age a little bit, so I'm probably going to forget. So
okay. Well, you know, one point I do want to make, you kind of touched on it a little bit.
Yeah.
I think sometimes people underestimate how tough it is to play major college football and be a student. To be a student and play major college football at a place like Notre Dame, and you touched on how it's tough for these student athletes to stay focused on you know, the situation at hand week in and week out. But let me tell you what, you're working as a student athlete at Notre Dame, you're basically working 2 full-time jobs over the course of a 4-year period. You're working 2 full-time jobs. You're an athlete and you're a student. You're a student athlete. And that's not easy to do. And, I mean, you're expected to do well in the classroom at Notre Dame, and you're expected to produce on the field. No question about that. So I give these guys a lot of credit. And we're playing good football right now. We're playing good Notre Dame football. And I hope we just continue to stay focused.
And to kind of touch on the last game against Pitt real quick and kind of talk about that mentality that you're speaking of, the defense all year long, and I would say for over 80% of the quarters that has been played already, they have done a very, very nice job of, first of all, keeping teams from scoring, but also playing that fundamentally sound football on the defensive side where they are in spots where they should be and playing physical and being aggressive and anything else that you can think of that's positive when it comes to playing defense.
Oh, it's just, we're playing championship defense, no question about it. We're playing championship defense, and we get cornerback Troy Price back this week, who was out with an injury. And we've had some problems at corner since he's been out. But that should be a big lift for us on defense with Troy Pride coming back.
Yeah, I definitely think so. And with the depth that they've added to that defensive side of playing some different guys as well, that's definitely going to help in the long run, because who knows, knock on wood, there isn't some kind of injury or something where the defense starts, not being themselves and giving up some points, and you got depth to put guys in to be successful and to have confidence in themselves to be able to come out and play well. So I think that it's really important, because especially in this case against Navy. Now, Navy is fourth nationally in time of possession. They average 35 minutes a game, and the Irish average 28 minutes, which is 97th in the nation. So that defense could be on the field for a long time, and they're going to need that depth, like you mentioned, with those guys coming back. So I think it's really important this week that they hone in on, stopping that run, because, of course, Navy is known for that. And they are outstanding. They're, I think, sixth nationally in team rushing offense. So they can run the ball pretty well.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, and they play us tough. I can remember back when I was at Notre Dame, and we'd play against Navy, and at that time they had Napoleon McCallum, and he was, really good football player, but you could tell he was playing at another level anytime he played against Notre Dame. It was almost as if he wanted to beat Notre Dame by himself if he could. And Navy, that's a big feather in their cap if they can beat Notre Dame every year. So make no mistake about it. They're at home in San Diego. We're going to have to really be focused and ready to play. But I have no doubt that we will be with, look what we have on the line. We're ranked number 3 in the entire country. Right now, if they were to have a college football playoffs for a national championship, we'd be in one of the games. And what else do you need to be inspired, to be motivated? Come out and play the best football you've played in your life. I don't think that'll be a problem. I think our guys will be ready to play, and I think that'll be the case throughout the rest of the season.
I think that Coach Kelly and that staff has to preach what you just said about self-motivation and what's on the line. Not necessarily pressure, but, hey, you have a chance. Be hungry. Be non-complacent. Be ready to go, essentially, with everything that you do.
It's a lot of those guys will never be in a situation like this again. They will never, I would say most of them, will never be in a situation where you could play for a national championship again. I can remember going to the NFC championship game against the Chicago Bears in 1985. And I can remember a veteran, Jackie Slater, saying, guys, we're one game away from the Super Bowl. And a lot of people in this room will never get this close to a Super Bowl again in life. And you know what? This was during the week in practice. You know what? We didn't win that Super Bowl. But I would bet you 3/4, if not more, 3/4 of that Ram team that we had at that time never made it back to be that close to a Super Bowl again.
Oh, yeah, it's tough, let alone being undefeated at this point in the season, as opposed to going and winning the next 5 games and competing for a national championship. I obviously wouldn't have any experience in something like that, but I know that, the experience that you've mentioned to me about what you've done over your years in playing, it's just outstandingly hard. It's a grind. It's mentally and physically exhausting, to say the least. So
yeah,
they have a task on hand. But, however, I think that they need to step back and understand what's at hand and embrace the situation and kind of seize it. And like you said, this could be their last time that any of them ever will compete for something this prestigious, I guess. So
Exactly. There's a very good chance that this will be the last time that most of them will ever be in a position like this. So, hey, seize the moment. Seize the moment, take advantage of it. Leave no regrets, as we used to always say. Leave it out on the field. Leave it on the field. And then you can go on with the rest of your life knowing that you gave it your all. You gave it everything you had.
And the going along with this week's game against Navy, so they're playing out in San Diego this week, and they are going to be traveling quite a bit in the next 5 weeks. So I found a stat that they are going the 4 remaining road trips comprise of 8,700 miles combined, roughly.
Wow.
That is a long time of traveling, so which could be a good thing and or a negative thing. They could get very mentally drained from all the traveling, or they could still be fresh from all the home games that they've already been a part of and, take that into consideration and prepare for those things that are coming up, such as that travel. And I know you can probably speak for this, Tony, as far as the travel piece. I mean, sometimes that does take a toll on your body and your mind and how you possibly play.
And you don't realize it. You get to a place and you're out there and you're practicing, and you don't realize that your legs are just a little bit heavier. You don't have quite as much energy as you normally would before a game and during a game. But it sneaks up on you. It does sneak up on you. The good thing about that for Notre Dame right now is we're coming off a bye week. And we've had a chance to get our legs back underneath us, and like I said, we're bringing guys back from injury. Jafar Armstrong, Troy Pride Jr. And so we're ready for a spurt of games. And I'm not 100% sure, but I think under Brian Kelly, our away record may be even better than our home one-loss record. I think I read something that he actually has a better away game record than he does home one-loss record. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah, definitely. And so, we're probably going to move on from this Navy talk here and talk about something really important, if you don't mind, Tony, is kind of the 3 toughest picks segment, which I've kind of grown fond to like as of lately. So, as you new listeners, by the way, thank you, new listeners, and, of course, the loyal ones. You can follow us on Facebook, searching Irish Football Weekly. You can also find Tony and I on Facebook. Just search our name. And, of course, I'm on Twitter at CoachJB4. But going back to this 3 toughest picks here, and for those listeners that have been following us and listening to us, I'm in the lead. And for those newbies, I'm in the lead, which is kind of it's not a trending thing going on with this. So
let me say this, and because of my work schedule on the weekends, I haven't been able to watch as much college football this year. So just to be honest, I haven't been able to watch as much college football as I'd like. I've been making sure that I get in and watch the Notre Dame games, but with my work schedule right now, I haven't been able to watch much college football. But I'll tell you what, Michigan, I'm liking Michigan to beat Ohio State this year for the first time under Harbaugh. But anyway, let's go on with the picks.
First of all, I love excuses, Tony, from my opponents. No, I'm just joking. It makes me feel good. No, I'm kidding. So the 3 toughest picks, we got all 3 games with top 25 rankings here. The first game is a huge game, in my opinion. It's an SEC matchup. Number 9 Florida travels to number 7 Georgia.
Ooh.
Yeah. Could be a statement game for Florida, that's for sure.
And, Alabama still has to go to Florida, don't they?
I believe so.
Wow, that's a toughie right there. Oh, man. But like I said, I haven't been able to see as many college games this year, so I haven't had a chance to watch Florida at all. But I'm going to take Georgia at home. I'm going to take Georgia at home.
All right, you take Georgia, and I will also take Georgia. I just don't see them losing a couple games this year. They look pretty good. I know they fell to LSU kind of big, and there's some things going on there, but I think Georgia at home, I think they take care of it, and they beat Florida. So next –
tough game, though. Tough game. I'm sure Florida has plenty of speed, and they have a lot to play for right now.
Oh, most definitely. In the first year under Dan Mullen, they definitely have some more things to make a statement on, and this game would definitely be a part of that statement. So good luck to both teams there. The number 2 game we have here is number 14, Washington State travels to one of our foes, number 24, Stanford. So number 14, Washington State at number 24, Stanford.
Wow. Stanford's had a tough year. They're kind of up and down. I'm going to go with Washington State.
Washington State you choose. Okay. Well, I'm going to go with Stanford because I want them to continue winning, first of all, to make Notre Dame's schedule look even sweeter.
Right.
And playing it.
Strength of schedule. Notre Dame is right now we're number 1 as far as strength of record. As it pertains to our schedule, we have a really tough strength of schedule, and I think nationally right now, our strength of record is number 1 in the country, based on our opponent's winning records.
Sorry to interrupt you there. I was just going to say the fact that that's something that they can hang their hats on, and as a recruiting tool, hey, we're undefeated. We have one of the toughest schedules in the nation. Why wouldn't you want to come here if we're playing great football? But yeah,
playing on national television. I mean, Notre Dame. There's no bigger spotlight in college football than playing for Notre Dame. Still to this day, that's true. No question about it. There's no bigger spotlight.
Absolutely. Well, let's jump back in the 3 toughest picks here and get this last one taken care of. We have a Big Ten matchup, number 18 Iowa, which I didn't realize they were ranked, at number 17 Penn State. So number 18, number 17 battle it out.
Wow. I like Penn State. Penn State's at home, right? They're at home.
Yeah. Yes, they're at home.
Yeah, I think Penn State's due to make a run. It's getting late in the season, and they seem to always throw a monkey wrench in somebody's playing late in the season. So I look for them to start picking up some big wins. I'm going to go Penn State. Yeah,
I'm going to take Penn State as well. I just think that they're playing some pretty decent football from what I can see and watch limitedly, but if that's even a word. And I will take them as well. So we got 2 of the 3 the same. That Stanford game, I hope Stanford pulls it out so I can increase my lead on
What are you up now? What's your lead now? Are you up 2? What are you up now?
I'm up 2. I'm 10-8. You're 8-10. I'm going to say that out loud one more time. I'm 10-8, and you're 8-10.
Well, I'm going to take off work here pretty soon on a couple of these weekends so I can start watching the games and take this lead again, okay?
All right. That sounds great, Tony. Good for you. You do that. You relax and watch some of that college football. You deserve it for sure. So let's.
It's been a rough year as far as college football. I make sure that I get in and watch the Notre Dame games. But I haven't seen nearly as many college football games as I'd like to. But hopefully that's going to change here pretty soon.
Yeah, hopefully you're able to do that. So definitely, let's jump into Irish prediction time. Let's talk about our predictions for this week against Navy. Obviously, a tough opponent. We've already said that. Against Notre Dame, they like to play their best ball against them, and that time of possession and that rushing offense play a factor in that. What do you have as your prediction for this week, Tony?
I think now that we have we're going to have Dexter Williams and Jafar Armstrong in the backfield together. Now, I don't think Armstrong will be at full strength just yet, but I look for us to have a big rushing day. a big rushing day. I say over 200 yards rushing. And I sure hope they keep things going with Miles Boykin. I hope they keep the football going to Miles Boykin because he and Ian Book were developing a really nice chemistry there. And that's a really talented receiver Miles Boykin is. I hope they keep throwing him the football. But I think we're going to be focused on running the football against these guys, and I think we're going to try to pound them in the ground with our running game. But I think also we should be mixing it up with the pass so that Ian Book becomes more and more relaxed with his receivers, or more and more acquainted with where they like the football. And but I'm going to take Notre Dame to put up 31 points. And I think our defense, with our returning All-American cornerback, Troy Pride Jr., coming back, I think we're going to hold them to 14 points.
Oh, wow. So I'm laughing, and everybody's probably wondering why. So I put my prediction in before you do as far as score. Guess what I have? Just take a guess.
No way. What'd you have?
I have the same exact score, 31-14 Irish.
Oh my God!
So let's hope we're both right on this pick here, this prediction. So
I think our defense is going to be. They haven't hit anybody in a week. They've had that bye week, and they haven't hit anybody in a week. So I think they're going to be ready to hit somebody out in San Diego. So I think our defense is going to show up big, hold them to 14 points. I think our running game is going to be up and running with Armstrong coming back, and I think that's a pretty good prediction on both of our parts.
Yeah, definitely on that. I agree totally. So we have our predictions. We have our picks in. We talked Navy, our opponent, a little bit. We talked about the outlook of this rest of the season, this last half here. Tony, it's time to wrap it up here. So
all right.
That concludes our show for this week on Irish Football Weekly. Don't forget to check out our website, thegruelingtruth.net, which has multiple shows of sports casters out there talking whatever they want about whatever you probably want to listen to. So go on there and take a listen and listen to those shows. I also have a show called Real Deal that's on there too, so you can listen to me babble a little bit more. And you can also find us on all those medias I mentioned before: Stitcher, Spreaker, Google Music, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, which is new to the Grueling Truth a little bit. And also, if you have an iPhone, you got to go to the App Store, go to the Grueling Truth Sports Network app. You can subscribe to shows as well on that app. Well, Tony and I are also on Facebook. You can find us on there by searching our names. You can also search Irish Football Weekly. That's become a very popular page. It's growing pretty rapidly the last couple of weeks, so thank you to all those followers and loyal listeners. Also, the other social media piece, Twitter, @CoachJB4 is my Twitter handle. Follow me on there. For my co-host, Tony Hunter, who's also behind in the toughest picks for so far. Sorry, I had to do it. For my co-host, Tony Hunter, this is Josh Benjamin signing off for Irish Football Weekly. Go Irish! Peace.
Go Irish.